So we've been looking at this theme of grace is not a blue-eyed blonde, which focuses on forgiveness. So as we've looked through this series of questions, we've come to the last question today, question number 12. Why does God offer this second chance? Why does the Lord offer forgiveness? Here's the answer. Because he loves you. On this planet, with our relationships with people, we'll never find anybody that loves us 100% of the time perfectly. Only the Lord will ever love us 100% of the time perfectly. And so therefore, as we think about this forgiveness and close out our thoughts here, just imagine yourself going through a major guilt trip. You look at something in your life that, that sin that if your family and friends knew about it, you would die. That sin that you feel so guilty about, that sin that you've held secretly for so long, that sin that you'll probably never tell anybody about. Here's what the Lord is saying to us in the scripture. You take that sin and you hold it up in front of the Lord, in the face of the Lord, and this is what he says to you. You admit your sin, and I will forget it. I will not only forgive it, but I will forget it. Let me tell you, it really doesn't get any better than that. And that is an essential need that each one of us have in our lives. And then when you're forgiven, you are free to become the person he wants you to be and to do all he wants you to do. I want to read a little story to you as we close here. There was a man years ago by the name of Michael Koist, Quoist. He had a little book called Prayers. And in that book, he tells about a man who is really made a big mess of his life. So he confesses his sin, lays it all out before the Lord, and then the Lord speaks back to him. So let me read the prayer, and we'll close this up. The man says, I have fallen, Lord, once more. I can't go on. I'll never succeed. I'm ashamed. I don't dare look at you. And yet I struggle, Lord. For I know you are right near me, bending over me and watching, but temptation blew like a hurricane. Instead of looking at you, I turned my head away. I stepped aside while you stood silent and sorrowful like the spurned fiancé who sees his loved one carried away by the enemy. When the wind died down as suddenly as it had arisen, when the lightning ceased after proudly streaking the darkness, all of a sudden I found myself alone, ashamed, disgusted with my sin in my hands. This sin, Lord, that I selected the way a customer makes his purchase. This sin that I paid for and cannot return, for the storekeeper is no longer there. This tasteless sin, this odorless sin, this sin that sickens me, that I've wanted but want no more, that I've imagined and sought and played with and fondled for a long time, that I finally embraced while turning coldly away from you. My arms outstretched, my eyes and heart irresistibly drawn. This sin that I grasped and consumed with gluttony, it's mine now. But it possesses me as a spider web grasps a gnat. It's mine. It sticks to me. It follows me. It flows in my veins. It fills my heart. It's slipped in everywhere. And just as darkness slips into the forest at dusk and fills all the patches with light, I can't get rid of it. I run from it the way one runs from a stray dog. But it catches up with me and bounds joyfully against my legs. Everyone must notice it. I'm so ashamed that I feel like crawling to avoid being seen. I'm ashamed of being seen by my friends, but most of all, Lord, I'm ashamed of being seen by you. For you love me, and I forgot you. I forgot you because I was thinking of myself. And one cannot think of two persons at one time. One must choose, and I chose. And your voice and your look and your love hurt me. They weigh me down. They weigh me down more than my sin. Lord, don't look at me like that, for I am naked, I am dirty, I'm shattered, with no strength left. I dare make no more promises. I can only lie bowed before you. And then the Lord answers him back. Child, look up. Isn't it mainly your vanity that's wounded? If you loved me, you would grieve, but you would trust me. Do you think there's a limit to how much I love you? Do you think that for a moment I stopped loving you, but you still only rely on yourself? Child, you must rely only on me. Ask my pardon. Get up quickly, for you see, it's not falling in the mud that's the worst, but it's staying there. A man or a woman that comes to know Jesus Christ and his grace and forgiveness in their lives will never be the same again. I hope that's your experience. I hope that's a reality to you. You think about that.